I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you look like you've lost some weight.
No, it's probably just the angle.
Oh, well, I thought that last week too. When I kept talking about your mustache, I was like, you look like you lost a little bit of weight, man.
Thank you. I mean, I have been trying to cut back on some things, but
List them.
it's also just hot outside.
Oh, so you're just like losing like water weight from sweat.
Well, no, like I haven't been drinking as much, so so much
Good
for
boy.
a drunken nerd. Well, just like spreading it out and not going crazy all the time. Also, for the sake of saving money, but no. And trying to
Maybe
stop
it's
the
just
fast food.
Maybe it's just that you shaved your beard, and that's what it
Yeah,
is.
you know what? Maybe it was. Maybe I haven't lost a pound, and I just got rid of that ratty ass beard.
Love the stash, though.
I do love the stash too. Give me one too.
Oh, you have a wonderful mustache.
No, I said give me a kiss.
I think he meant get a kiss.
Oh,
Thank you.
There you go.
Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together talk about nerd shit. I'm Luigi, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez.
Eddie B.
Edward Ball.
Nope.
And this week we're going to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Just kidding. It's just Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk about Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk about some nerd news. We're going to talk about what we're into. But before we do all that, we're going to jump right into the news. Well, Ed, give us the summer box office numbers. What's going on?
Yeah, I want that update. Oh,
Beep,
bud.
beep, 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 beep. Yes, Louise, thank you very much. Just the latest update on our summer wager. So I guess in the last 2 weeks, we've seen the release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Transformers Rise of the Beast. So fun little fact, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is now tied with The Little Mermaid. They are both at 232 million.
That
right
surprised me when I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's going to overtake Little Mermaid after this next weekend.
I think so too.
Because people be vibing with that movie. And then Transformers Rise of the Beast did about what you would expect. It did 66 or 60 in its opening weekend, which is about the same as Fast 10.
I think the numbers are going to go up this weekend just on word of mouth alone.
I think so.
That huge ending.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to see it. I wasn't going to see
Oh,
it.
yeah, we were talking about that this week. Yeah, okay.
I was on the edge
I
of
did-
watching
it
that
did
movie.
Does The
kinda-
Rock show up?
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh man, if he shows up, I mean, I'm ready for the reconnaissance.
My name is Roctimus Prime.
No, he'll still be a human,
Yeah.
but he will like hand to hand fight a
Fight a
robot,
robot,
and,
yeah.
and win.
Yeah.
Like when Captain America grabs Thanos' hand, you know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
what like The Rock will be doing with like robot arms. He's like, ah!
But he would actually prevent the snap because
He
he's
would.
The Rock, Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of cruising at 66. Fast X has slowed way the fuck down.
They're
That's
already
still
releasing it on
No.
streaming.
streaming.
No.
Wow.
And, yeah, you can get it at home now, which is why on
home
the
now?
internet now you're getting such crystal clear clips of it on the internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Zave from work, shout out Zave Rodriguez. He does not listen to the podcast, but he was watching Fast X today, though albeit illegally. I don't think he paid for it or anything. He just
Put his shit on blast. Why don't you? Ed? Fuck.
What's
Why
his
wouldn't you
name?
just say like he was?
Legally.
I just said you could stream it, and you could just been like he was watching it, and we would have been like,
He did
yeah.
today. No, I was just joking about the illegal stuff, FBI. But yeah, he was getting a kick out of it, I guess. A lot of
interesting.
cameos, apparently.
I wasn't.
That's what I hear.
You would.
That caused such
He
a
wasn't-
pause in the conversation.
Oh,
I
yeah.
snuck in. So I watched Across the Spider-Verse a second time, and before the movie started, I went into a theater randomly. I was like, well, we're just going to see what's in this movie theater. I walk in. It was a basketball game, so then I walked out. And then I went to the other theater, and Fast X was playing, and oof. That one was rough.
Also, it wasn't just a basketball game, was it?
No, it was the
That's
Denver,
the NBA Finals?
the Denver Muggies.
No.
I know what it is.
Yeah, it's just muggy.
The Nuggets. Congratulations, Miguel. Miguel's in Colorado. He's
Nuggets.
celebrating his first big NBA win. He's official. I feel like that finally
Last
makes
year-
you a person from Denver.
Last year, the Avalanche won for the NHL, and then this year the Nuggets won.
Okay.
And so
did they
Kristen
beat?
and I, we brought that good luck to the city.
So
You're
now the
welcome.
Broncos are going to win
Denver.
next year. Or this year.
I think so.
Okay.
No, yeah, we'll see. Sorry, Ed. What? They played the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah.
That's another basketball team, Ed.
Yes.
Okay. So Fast X is slowing down at 138. Transformers at 66. Not a bad entryway, but it's better than like a 20 million entryway. But I think Transformers might rise.
I think it's gonna.
For the beast.
Yeah, good one. So it might land around about where Fast X is headed.
I think
Maybe.
it's gonna pass Fast X. Probably snatch in like 160.
Well, according to my list, I hope so, I guess. But yeah, so right now that still has Guardians up top with 336, and then The Little Mermaid, Spider-Man, Fast X, and Transformers. But Transformers is just a baby. It's got to stretch its legs a little.
Yes. So yeah, I think we're all looking at everything here. We're all hoping for Transformers to make more money than Fast X, right? Yes. I'm looking at our list. I wish I wish I could show this to everybody who's listening, but
I don't think Miguel had it on his list.
No, I definitely don't have Fast X or Transformers on my list.
Okay. Next up on the podcast, we have movies being delayed, and huge thing
what
from
a
Disney.
list.
What a list! The writer's strike and just other things have pushed a bunch of stuff. I mean, pairing the writer's strike, pairing Marvel's poor performance, and just pairing a few other things have shifted. Captain America: Brave New World is moved from May 2024 to August 26th. Wait, what?
August 2026?
No. What? This doesn't make sense.
Or August 26th of this year. Or whatever year it was supposed to come out.
Wait, was it supposed to come out? Oh, right. That's what this doc is saying. Okay. So it just moved a couple months down. So from May 2024 to August 26, 2024. Okay. And then Thunderbolts is moving from to December 20th. Okay, who wrote these notes? This is incomplete. Blade is moving to February. Blade is moving to February 14th. Fantastic Four is moving to May 2nd, 2025. The Avengers King Dynasty will be bumped back a year to May 1st, 2026. And Secret Wars is also moving to May 7th, 2027. We're talking about these movies, but also another big thing that got announced were Avatar movies.
Oh, man.
Those have also been announced. And, year 2031, Avatar 5 will be coming out. So if you don't have kids yet, you'll probably have them then, and then you can take them to go see the movie. But
you, Luis,
I'll have kids at this time, and we'll be going to the movies. This is I think it's good. I think these movies back, give them time to breathe. I don't need them pumping out too quickly. Let them beat it out. Let them make it look good. I don't mind taking some time here. Passing the ball now to the next person to talk.
I was just waiting to see if Ed was going to say anything about beating it out.
Well, yeah, allow me.
Go on, Ed. Your favorite pastime?
Sure, beat or two. Talking about beating, we're talking about punchies. Is that a thing on
Shout
the
out.
note?
Yeah.
Shout
So
out.
we talked about we quickly talked about all these movie dates being pushed, but a new thing we're going to introduce into this podcast is a thing called the Punchies. The Punchies is a new award system that we're doling out to movies or TV shows or maybe albums or books or whatever that we think is just primo, sweet, incredible, amazing. This is how it's going to work out. Each one of us gets 3 punchies for the year for movies and TV. So Ed has 3 punchies for movies. Ed has 3 punchies for TV. I do too. Miguel does too. So we can
for each category.
For each category, yeah. I think. Look, we don't know. This might evolve. This might change. We might, what's not buff it, but what's the other? Nerf it. We might nerf this a little bit depending on how crazy we get with throwing awards everywhere. But we wanted to have some sort of way to markate that this is a good thing. We all like it. You should check it out. It's like our own personal Peabody Award, okay? Instead of a Peabody Award, it's a Punchy. So we're going to able to place Punchies on things that we really like as well. Collectively, we can vote for an unlimited amount of Punchies. But we all have to agree to that sentiment. I don't know.
Like if they deserve it?
If they deserve, like, for example, say we all used up all of our Punchy codes. You know what I mean? We turned in all of our Punchy tickets of the year. It's November, and we've run out of Punchy coupons. Then collectively, we could all decide, hey, this movie, Aquaman 2, deserves a Punchy. It will not get a Punchy. But, you know, you get the idea of what we're trying to say here, you know?
Okay. Oof.
A Punchy that I would have given a Punchy to Andor. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if we all would have agreed to that. But that would have been one.
So what if one certain member of the group refuses to watch a thing?
Well, then that's where the personal Punchy awards come in. So say somebody decides not to choose it. Well, then I don't give a fuck what you think. I am using one of my Punchy coupon codes to you know, give it an award. Now I just got to make a logo icon. Thoughts? You good things, bad things? You like it? You don't? I don't know.
Love it. Let us know if you think it's a good idea at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Okay.
Send recommendees for the
Recommendees.
I also had this idea. I haven't told you this either, but I wanted to write down all the shows we write or we've seen, and then create a point system where what streaming service won this year. You know? And so we see we watched a lot of Netflix shows. Netflix was king this year, or Max was king, or Disney Plus, or whatever, you know? So
I do keep track of all the shows and movies I watch. So
perfect.
Just keep track of the streaming. Okay,
that's what we're going to do. So we got the Punchies, we got the Streamies, we got the Newsies, and the Traileries coming up. We got some trailers for you. A lot of trailers came out. Miguel, I'm going to pass this to you. What movie trailer came out?
We're talking movies. I don't have the list in front of me.
I'm sorry. I set that up for you to be like, it's not a movie trailer, it's a video game trailer.
It's a video game. That's what I almost said too.
Oh, really?
So you did a good job.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was like, look, how do I say this better? Star Wars Outlaws is the name.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it by the same company that did Jedi Survivor,
no,
Luis?
No, it's
not, right?
It's Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
Oh, okay. I would have said Ubisoft. But I may be wrong.
There's a whole YouTube video about what's the right way to pronounce it, and it's like some people say Ubisoft, some people say Ubisoft, some people say Ubisoft.
What?
Don't look at me. Someone in the video said it. Someone in the video said it.
Okay. Is that a bad thing though? If it's by them,
by Ubisoft? I mean, depending. Some people feel a certain type of way about them. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay, I don't know the different companies and their vibes and stuff. Like, what do people think about that?
I think like Ubisoft, their open world games are all kind of feel very similar. Like it's just they don't really branch out from the formula that works. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Lots of like for a while the critique was lots of you got to go to this point and clear the fog on the map or whatever. You got to unlock this section of the map by doing some activity kind of thing. They do the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Far Cry. They do those games. They're all pretty good.
Okay.
I've actually never really had any issues with Ubisoft. I think they're a lot of fun. They might do Watch Dogs, which I would say was not a good series overall. But anyway, we're kind of going on a tangent here. Star Wars Outlaws. So they released a 10-minute gameplay walkthrough, and it's one of those like pre-alpha footages. You know what I mean, where you should expect things to kind of change here and there. The biggest thing that I would imagine changes is the like the HUD looked very just kind of thrown on the screen.
Yeah.
Did you see this trailer?
I did. Yeah, I saw the trailer.
All 10 minutes. I was blown away when I started it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm watching this. Yeah. Ed, we'll let you figure. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a mix of what?
Well, the one I clicked on, it's 2 minutes. Two minutes and
I
20
didn't-
seconds.
I watched.
Oh, you did.
I watched the
I
gameplay.
didn't watch this.
Sorry.
one. I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, I watched the gameplay walkthrough.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
Ed saw the actual trailer that was.
And I'm sure the trailer's fine.
Yeah, I was like very cinematic. Honestly, I thought like everything proceed. Well, you haven't even seen it. There's like a lead up to the like the Lucasfilm logo. There's like a few snippets of like not gameplay. There's no gameplay in the trailer. But it was like shots of Jabba the Hutt leading.
I didn't know that.
The Han Solo and Carbonite thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, I like the look of this. And then it went off into the story about the main character.
And then he didn't care anymore. Wow.
Well, no,
did you
I
hear,
mean, it looks
did you hear
fine.
the tone in his voice just go, and then it just happened.
Whoa, canceled.
No, I mean, I get excited for a lot of Star Wars games. Obviously, I don't play them, but like I like Rogue Squadron and stuff like that.
I was going to say, this game feels like a mashup of a lot of different. They really, in the gameplay walkthrough, they did a really good job of showcasing like all the different formats of Star Wars you kind of think of. Like there was a space battle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the like kind of first person. It's not really first person. I guess it's third person shooter vibes. You know what I mean?
Bounty hunting, kind of like open world bounty hunting or whatever.
Yes, and at the very tail end of it, they did kind of like a quick little cinematic trailer. Kind of cutting to all of the locations you go to, which I thought looked pretty cool. I don't know much about this character. I guess she's an original character for this game. Mm-hmm. But everyone gets a name, and then they always say it like you're supposed to know who they are. I'm like, ooh, fucking Lady Han Solo. You know what I mean? She had that kind of vibe.
And I think it's set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
I fuck my dick. I just cannot ever keep track of the Star Wars timeline. Every time a property comes out, they always go, "Oh, it was right in between this fucking thing you need to remember." Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. Just I when the trailer started, I told Kristen, I was like, God, another Star Wars thing. Like, I'm getting kind of burnt out on them. But the games are fun because I guess they're more like active. Like, okay, I'm like actively doing something. And Jedi Survivor was really fun.
Yeah.
So
different company.
And this one is like, and this so this is a different company. But the reason why I asked is it looked very similar, and I think that's just because Star Wars has like such a look to it. You know, all of these like settlements she was walking through and everything like that. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm just walking through these again.
Oh, I see.
Some of the just because I'm comparing it to that game, I liked how. It seems like you can, kind of like in No Man's Sky, take the ship straight into space. And there's a little bit of a loading, like fog in between the atmosphere and space, but then you're in space. Whereas like in Jedi Survivor, it was very much like, and then a cutscene is happening while we get the ship in the space and then it travels, but you're not really doing that, you know? And here they're very much like, okay, you are in the ship, you're piloting it, you're shooting this and that. And I think that looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
I loved, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it now.
What the
one of the first things I thought of was, oh look, there's another cute little animal character that you know what I mean, just another toy to sell or whatever. And it's like, man,
they really pump them out. Those little
they
cute
really
little things.
do.
Those cute little
they
things.
Really do.
Little droids.
I was sitting here just thinking about The Force Awakens when that fucking like little penguin thing, you know what I mean?
That was The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Last Jedi?
You talking about the porgs?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, okay, there's the cute animal there. Then it was Baby Yoda, and then it was.
But BD1
you know I mean?
is pretty cool.
BD1. Oh, Luis, I was going to ask you. So
no, BD1.
Oh, baby.
We don't like BB-8.
No,
BB-8's fine, but you just don't. Do you know who BD1 is?
No, I guess not.
I think BD1 could have been the BB-8. You know what I'm saying? Like BB-8 was too much like R2-D2 in a way. Like you needed to have a BD1.
That's a fair criticism.
Yeah. What, you don't agree with this, Ed? He's just an R2-D2 with a ball.
Spirit of youth. The spirit of youth.
Okay.
R2-D2 has like, he's a
but he's got
a trash can on wheels.
He's got the same head as R2. Okay, sure. I guess they're astromech units, so they look Their heads are the same, but I mean,
No, Ed, you can't say that they weren't just trying to be like, this is the R2D2 of this generation.
Course. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they were.
Like,
And
just
basically
like
just,
when
yeah,
there's,
hard.
like, a new Batman outfit or a new, whatever, just like a upgrade. Everybody upgrades, right?
Everyone upgrades, including the audience.
And yeah, of course, Star Wars is absolutely all about that. It's all about selling.
BD1 is the robot in the Jedi Survivor. Both those games, Cal Kestis has a trusty companion, BD1, and he rides basically kind of like on your shoulder, like on your upper back. He like sticks to you, and then you utilize him a lot. And Luis, I don't know if we've ever talked about that. Do you like that?
That he rides on me?
Yes.
Yes, I love BD1.
Oh, see, no, BD1's great. I don't mind a companion.
I want to get the Lego set of the BD1. There's a huge one that I want to get. Yeah.
BD1.
And he's cute. He's cute. But I don't love the idea of him riding on me everywhere I go.
Why? You don't like a little parrot buddy?
It's weird because because there are times when I look at it and I go, is he about to fall off? You know what I mean?
He's latched onto your shoulder. He's not going.
And
anywhere.
then I think that hurts. You know what I mean? Like that has to.
Maybe he's latched onto the clothes. I don't know. In fucking Ragnarok or God of War, you got a head banging on your butt the whole time.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's true. But at least he speaks, number one, and he's like attached. He's like attached via rope on a belt, and it's at least like logical. Like this robot is just like cling. Here I am. So I was excited to see that she has a companion, but he's not in Star Wars Outlaws. The little dog thing is not riding on her shoulder or whatever.
You know what? I like it riding.
That's a cute little droid. It's a cute looking droid.
We'll be enemies on this topic. I'm for.
He's super helpful. I love having BD1. I'm not against BD1.
I need a stem. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't love all that.
You don't like the stems? What are you talking? How are you going to read? How are you going to get health?
No, well, I don't know. I don't mind. Like again, I don't mind the like concept of needing it. You know, it's just like because he's always like
to apply himself.
First off, he snaps. He snaps like, "Give it here, BD," and then he gets it and he goes, "Good job, buddy," or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're doing too much talking to the robot right now. I like BD1.
I really do get hurt a lot because it doesn't happen faster. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, and then in this new game,
hit as I'm trying to get help.
Yes.
I have to slow time down and then be like, okay, now I can fucking get health.
Oh, yeah, they added that function and it was like, okay, I can breathe for a fucking second. But then there's also like an upgrade tree, and one of like the top tier ones is like, and then help improve the time that it takes to get a stim from BD1. And I'd be like, how much faster is this really going to help? You know what I mean? Anyway, we were talking Star Wars Outlaws. I just feel like maybe we didn't really talk Jedi Survivor too much. Did you finish the game?
No, I'm in the middle of playing it still. I felt like I was on Instagram and someone was like, "Did you catch the ending?" And the developer's freely talking, and I'm like, "Fuck, I need to finish this."
It's been out, you know.
Yeah, I know.
That was like that. A couple weekends ago, I told Kristen, I was like, "Hey, I know this is silly, but like, I really need to finish this game because like it's getting to a point now where it's like out there, and I'm just gonna have everything spoiled."
IGN freely posted like just the ending of Jedi Survivor, and I was like, "The fuck!" Like, I'm not even.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
How much time do you give somebody to finish a game? A month?
Well, I mean, there are some people that have the time to do it, as we've talked about. Yeah. You know, youths who don't have any real responsibility. You know, we have like full-time jobs. I have a kid. Yeah. You know.
Anyway,
to pay.
I don't know where I'm at, but I'm somewhere. I honestly, I'm getting a little confused with the plot. Like, I feel like this plot's like a little bit more confusing than the first one. Or just not as interesting. Like, it's just like, I don't really care, like, going to this other planet and, like, this guy's trying to go to that planet, and it's just, like, everything else is great. I'm having a lot of fun. I think I beat that one, what's it called? Noodly guy. He's got tentacles. He's got the tentacles, and he's like, "I will serve you now." Or he's like, "Give me a soldier's death," and then I slit his throat, and then I zip away.
Like the big guy?
Yeah, the big guy.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
You don't remember him? He's like one of the main villains.
You're talking like the secondary, like
dude.
the right hand man to the guy who doesn't have a right hand.
Yeah. He's the right hand to the right guy. The
literal right hand.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't remember his death, to be honest. I skipped a lot of cutscenes, so that might also be why I relate to you saying
this
the
was
plot is
like you
confusing.
had to like beat him like 3 times. Like you had to knock his bar down once, and then you had a cutscene. Then you had to knock his bar down again, and then I think you. I just want to know where.
Did I tell you I bumped the difficulty down? I bumped it all the way down
to story mode.
To story mode, yeah, because I was just like, I need to finish this.
Okay,
like I just want to get to it.
Okay, well let's go through this episode. Sorry, we're talking too much.
Yeah. I will say this: Star Wars Outlaws. The couple of points that I wanted to say was I didn't love the HUD when I first saw it, but then I realized, okay, this is probably just like a placeholder. It's going to be a little more cleaned up and a little more polished, like when the actual game comes out. There's a chase in this where you like ride this like
motorcycle.
I don't know, motorcycle thing. A part of me. In an open world game, I love there to be like a vehicle that I can hop on and use to traverse a little bit quicker. I don't love it when they introduce a vehicle and it's really just for like a specific like chase level and then you don't ride it ever again.
Right.
So I'm kind of hoping that, or at least some sort of function of I'm riding something, because I hate walking through open worlds.
It's annoying. It's why I don't play Zelda. Okay.
I mean, it can really like, okay, why am I playing?
Yeah.
You know,
I get it. Yeah, you're just kind of like with Red Dead, you're riding a horse everywhere, and that's kind of grueling.
It can take them. It can take a minute. As the trailer went on, I liked it more and more. I think the character is compelling enough. Everyone gets like this like robot companion now. It feels like, she's got this like big. Whatever, I don't know what kind of robot companion that is, but it's like, okay. Yeah. It looks pretty good. And then the quick little flashes of cinematics at the very end of that looked really good. I'm here for it. I think if I'm going to take in a Star Wars property, it's going to be in a video game form. Like that's most likely how to get me to do it, you know? And that's that. Thank you guys for listening.
All right. See you next week.
This has been old Star Wars Sanchez over here. You guys.
Star Wars Sanchez, the biggest Star Wars fan out in the West.
The number one.
You poor little thing.
Speaking of poor things.
There you go.
We watched the teaser trailer for this a couple of weeks back, and they came out with another trailer that's still a little short. But this is the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie with Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe, amongst others. And you guys watched this?
I did.
And what did we think? I'm already excited for this film, so I'm just like on board. But I think it looks great.
It helped that at the end of the trailer they were like the director of The Lobster and the favorite, and I was like, oh, okay, now I understand like why this guy's getting movies. Like those movies were popular, but I could never in a million years, couldn't now, even after Ed said it, could say his name. Ed, what's the name again?
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Oh, there it is.
Yorgos.
But I thought it looked good. I like that it's colorful. I like that it's weird. Everyone looks like they're having a fun time with it. Emma Stone is like, oh, okay, we're doing something weird. Like,
yeah, she says it's like one of her favorite roles.
Yeah, it's such an interesting premise that she was dead and was brought back to life, and I guess this is like then she's been like reanimated, right? Is the premise. With this like mad scientist, Mark Ruffalo is I guess the love interest or something, or
maybe his character actually isn't listed. I don't know. He looks but I think they play with that too. There's like one old guy winking at her at one point, and she's making like funny faces back. Miguel, aren't you a big fan of Jared Carmichael?
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I saw that he was in it too. I'm glad he's getting his kind of like day, in the sun right now.
And Catherine Hunter, who you guys didn't see the tragedy of Macbeth, right, with Denzel Washington?
No.
She played the three witches, but she was really good. Anyway,
she played all three.
All three.
Wow.
She was great. So yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's just a short trailer. Luis, what about you?
Yeah, I watched it too. I think it didn't really. It felt like the teaser in some way. Like, sure, it had some extra scenes,
Yeah.
but I didn't. It didn't move the needle in the sense where it got me more hyped. I'm
Ooh.
hyped because of what he's done already, and I'm ready to watch it.
Sure.
But
Who has?
I don't think that I don't know. Honestly, I was like, I don't know why we need to see this on the trailer. Like, you didn't really add anything, but it was still interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here. I'm excited, but
Well, it gives you like a little clue as to what it's all about.
I guess that's true. The more of the Frankenstein story, you start to realize, like, this is the
Yeah.
idea. This is what we're happening. This is what we're doing. That's true. I guess it
Yeah.
is more of a story drop than anything.
Right.
But yeah, no.
Yogurt Lamp Post. Is that his name?
Yep. That's it. Yogurt lamppost.
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
I will watch it. It's already sold. I'm already sold. You know, if we're talking specifically
Sure,
on this
yeah.
trailer, then those are my thoughts. That
Right.
Yeah. teaser.
I was surprised that I felt so positive at the end of the trailer because it does look like a movie that's not quite my cup of tea.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Y'all already know. Y'all already know.
This
We
is
don't have
like
to have the
what-
conversation.
Yeah. This is like one of my most anticipated movies of the year now. Like, I wasn't aware this was coming out at the
Maybe
beginning
a
of the year.
punchy.
Huh?
Punchy coming your way. But I need you guys to see it with me.
Another trailer, right?
Right.
So yeah, a little teaser trailer drop for the latest Pixar movie due out next year, 2024. About a little boy named Elio. Let's go with Elio.
Yeah.
Who gets abducted by aliens, a council of aliens from across the galaxy. And I guess Earth is in trouble, and they think that Elio is their leader. Earth's leader. The aliens think that. You get it. So yeah, anyway, we're fans of Pixar here.
I'm cooling on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elemental is getting mid reviews. That's coming out
Shout out.
this weekend. Shout out, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's always worth noting a Pixar movie, right? And I thought it looked fun. Lily was interested, so it's already a win, right?
I'm gonna have to actually agree with Miguel here. I'm kind of cooling a little bit. Like, I never thought I would ever say this, but I was just like,
There was a golden age of Pixar, and we are out of it. You know,
yeah.
it's past.
I'm just.
But maybe this is the Renaissance
no.
Pixar.
I don't think this is
I
gonna
don't.
do it.
I respectfully no.
Respectfully, I don't know.
I
if
mean,
this
Miguel,
is
you have a kid. Do you think you can block Pixar out of your life for good? You don't think it'll
Well, here's the thing.
remain a constant?
Here's the thing. And well, this will add to the streaming killed movies debate. But if it's just going to end up on Disney Plus, I'm not going to pay money to go see this movie when I can just wait a couple months. My kid doesn't care at this point of having to see it right away. You know what I mean? He's not getting spoiled on the internet. So I can just wait and it'll be on Disney Plus and I'll go, great, let's watch it.
All right.
I mean, look, Pixar does solid stuff, but I'm just saying, like, as far as
I mean,
innovating
I
or just something like
understand
it doesn't.
what you guys mean.
It's like I feel myself just
But
wanting to get
I will
excited.
never post a Pixar trailer on this.
No, you can.
I mean,
again.
we made this comment already, but like Elemental, it's like, what else are we gonna do at this point? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
and then they're like, okay, well, let's do a space movie. Okay, all right. I feel like we just did that with Buzz Lightyear, but okay, let's do another space movie.
Well,
and
different locations shouldn't matter, right? For a story, like we're getting pumped
And then we'll
up
get
for the
some
Flash
sequel.
this weekend, guys.
We'll get
This
some
is another
sequel.
superhero movie, right?
that's a fair point, Ed. That's a fair point.
I like this.
All right.
I didn't mean to rustle some jimmies on this Pixar.
No,
comment,
I
Ed.
not
I just
rustled. I'm just. It's.
No, you
it
look
was just
rustled.
interesting. It was just interesting to hear that perspective, because that's
Like
such a
it-
broad
like,
thing.
I-
You're talking about a whole section, whatever you want to call it, of a catalog of just animation.
But do you know what it is? I think when we're getting stuff like Teenage Ninja Turtles, we're also getting Spider-Man, we're also getting Puss
Yeah.
in Boots. Obviously, they're all the same, like animate style, and that's the only one I could think of. But people are taking animation, like Super Mario Brothers, maybe too. People are taking like these animation risks or animation differences or doing something different.
Right.
And so I think Pixar had the claim of the land, and they couldn't do any harm because I think story-wise they nail it. They always pull the emotional strings right. They know how to do it to an art, to a science. Really, they're always going to do great. But now they're not the only kid at the park. I think everybody is stepping up. Everybody's kind of doing the best they can. And I think because of that, some stuff's outshining others. And, it kind of draws my eye a little bit this way. It's like, oh, what's...
Yeah, absolutely. There is like a certain formula to it. I
mean, as so much as there's a formula like to storytelling. You know what I mean? Like they still do it effectively. It's just...
And it's still of a certain ilk.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, we're getting these much more imaginative animated movies that are actually taking bold steps forward as far as what you could do. I mean, what we're going to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but it's like a fucking work of art. Spoiler alert.
That's true.
But
there should be no reason that a second or third Puss in Boots movie should generate this much buzz, but everyone loved that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we tried something different with it.
Right.
And I feel like, okay, Pixar is just kind of like, all right, I've seen it and I don't need to rush to see any more.
Gotcha.
But this one that I am excited about is a Netflix series.
Movie, I thought.
Okay. Called They Clone Tyrone. This was a surprise, whoever dropped this one in, because I'm interested. I'm in.
I was cracking up watching this trailer. This was a good one.
This was a solid trailer. This was the trailer of the week, if I had to say.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice.
For me.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's one of those trailers you just have kind of like a stupid grin on your face the whole time.
Yeah, stylistically, it's awesome. I'm looking up the plot right now because I forgot about it. They Clone Tyrone Netflix series, a series of eerie events thrusts an unlikely trio into a trail of nefarious government conspiracy. Not a great description of what I was looking for, but let's see. A pulpy sci-fi mystery caper in which an unlikely trio investigates a series of eerie events starring Jamie Foxx and
John
Boyega and
Tayana
Harris.
Paris with a P. Sorry, my bad.
Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're okay. You're banned from the podcast.
No, I'm sorry, Kiefer.
Oh, okay. David Allen Greer's in this too. Brian Tyree Henry's in this movie.
Henry.
Who else we got? So it's a pretty solid cast here. Really fun concept. Obviously the thing's called They Clone Tyrone. So they stumble upon this underground laboratory where they see that they've been cloned.
They're cloning people.
And that it could potentially be because they're eating the food that they all eat. And they're like, oh my God, stop eating the food. They're using it to clone us, blah, 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 blah. And it's pretty cool. It looks like a fun movie.
I have to agree with Luis. I do think of all of these that we watched, this one was the most engaging for me. I had a great time. I thought the button at the very end of the trailer was hilarious. I feel like they're all having a good time with it. Kristen, while we were watching it, she goes, "Is that Jamie Foxx?" And I was like, "Yeah." I guess it makes more sense for him because he's done a few Netflix movies now.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
he looks like he's having a good time with it, though. Like he's like in his zone.
For the Netflix original content that comes out, I'm usually pretty cold on it. But this one I was like, okay, I would sign in to watch this.
Exactly.
This does look pretty good.
That it was a Netflix movie. You know what I mean?
It looks so good. It really could go to theaters.
In fact, I was like, this. Why isn't I feel like it's a
got
missed opportunity to go.
All three of them are pretty big names. I mean, Jamie Foxx and John Boyega as the leads alone would kind of get people butts in seats. But I really like Tayona Paris. I keep wanting to say Harris. Anyway, I liked her. She's in she's in the Marvels. She was in WandaVision, right? Or am I thinking of the wrong?
No, that's her. Yeah.
I had a moment of panic just then where I was like, oh no,
no.
I fucked up. Because I've definitely done that before. I've been very confident with like me and Christian will be in a conversation. I'll be like, yeah, she was in or he was in such and such, and she'll go, no, they weren't. And I'm like, no, obviously they were, and then and then it'll be like, oh wow, no, that's a totally different person, and I just put them together.
Okay, They Clone Tyrone will be coming out on Netflix on July 14th, 2023. Moving on up to the next trailer here. It's called Cobweb. And the only reason I kind of clicked it was because it had Lizzie Kaplan on it. And I thought,
love her.
Yeah,
love her.
Love her. She's great. And then I saw that the people who made the producers of Barbarian also are doing this movie. And in fact, also the guy from The Boys, what's his name? Homelander.
Aaron Starr.
Anthony Starr.
Alexander Starr. Anthony Starr.
Anthony Starr.
There it is.
Anthony Starr is in it as well.
He has to be the bad guy, right? That's not working for me.
Look, it's a scary movie. So let me say, it's a scary horror movie about a boy who hears voices in his head, and Lizzie Kaplan's like, "You're not hearing anything," and he's like, "But I hear them." Is Anthony the Starr the bad guy? He could be, but I also feel like, from watching the trailer, like he's some sort of imagination, like he's not real.
I could see him being like some sort of MacGuffin. You know what I mean? Like, you think it's going to go one way, kind of like Barbarian did. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It's the same producers of Barbarian. So
I could see that.
I feel like there's a weird twist.
I saw a Reddit thread this morning that made me think on this for a little while, and it was surprising that we were watching a horror movie trailer today. Did you know, this was just a Reddit headline, so forgive me if it's not factually correct at all, that a lot of the haunted houses, that they'll do tests in them, and they find that they're just like old, and they leak a lot of like carbon monoxide or whatever. And so people will be like, oh my God, my house is haunted and I'm hearing voices, but really it's just like they're breathing bad air and they're hallucinating.
Oh shit.
And so that's what I was thinking about when I was watching this trailer. I was like, that looks like an old house.
Yeah.
I bet the pipes are bad. And I remember thinking when I saw Lizzie Kaplan, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she's probably at that point in her career where it's like, okay, maybe a horror movie, like try that, see if this will be your genre. But then I forgot, like, I guess not her first big thing, but one of her first big things was Cloverfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same genre, but it is, you know, a sci-fi kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
She just did that Fatal Attraction series too for I want to say Peacock. It might have been Apple TV. I can't remember.
Like an adaptation of the movie.
Movie, yeah.
Oh, was she the Glenn Close character?
Yeah.
Wow.
Alex or something.
Damn.
But yeah.
Wow, Cloverfield. I can't believe Cloverfield was that long ago. I was like, no way, was that one of her earlier films? But I guess it was. It was like her 1, 2, 3, 4.
I do not remember that film whatsoever, so I don't remember her being in it.
Wait.
And she was. Yeah. Did you guys watch Party Down?
Yes.
No.
I did.
Yeah.
Also good. Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
I tried to. That's one of those shows that every time I start it, you know what I mean? I'll walk away from it for too long, and then I have to start it over again because I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah.
And I haven't found my groove with it yet.
Yeah. So Cloverfield. Cobweb coming out July 21st, 2023. It's going to be 88 minutes long. Okay.
Love it.
All right, let's talk about Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse follows the previous movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Originally, when this movie was announced, it was said it was going to be a part 1. So then they dropped the part 1, and it was just called Across the Spider-Verse. And now we have this movie. Insane that this movie came out as quickly as it did with what we saw on screen. I don't know. Let's just get into it. I think a lot of people have seen this movie. First thoughts. I'm handing it off to somebody else. Who's going to do it?
Looks beautiful. Loved the intro. I loved that Gwen Stacy had a little bit more focus in this movie,
Yes.
because I think her
Yes.
and Miles' relationship is becoming super, like important to this character. I like that they pulled the main Spider-Man back a little bit,
Yep.
Peter B. Parker, and gave Gwen more of a show this time around. We can get into it if we want here in a little bit. There's a lot of like talk on the internet about like an allegory for like trans rights and like struggles are being portrayed through Gwen Stacy. I don't know if you guys have heard any of this, and it would be very surface level what I could add because I'm really just like regurgitating what I read on the internet. But the opening scene with Gwen Stacy was so good. I loved the art right away. It was just like I just wanted to kind of swim in this color, and I loved how we're giving her more focus and kind of making her more of a through line for Miles' story right now. And I loved how it was this whole segment, you know what I mean, that I kind of forgot what movie I was watching for a second, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm really, looks like in a Gwen Stacy mode.
Spoilers, by the way, did we say that?
I think if you're listening by this point, you have to know, like, what did you think we were going to talk about? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yes,
We have never not once put spoiler free in our title. Like, you're going to have to just get on board, babies.
that's why we wait a week to like review these movies.
Yeah, that's why.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
we're not on top of it right away. We're giving everybody a week to catch up. No, yeah, Miguel. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say also that I love how they, and I think Haley Steinfeld talked about this in an interview about how the colors change a little bit with her emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes they're more vibrant. Sometimes they're a little more muted. Sometimes they're more, they're pinky blues. And sometimes they're just kind of like, I don't know.
All blurred together.
Kind of blur together because maybe
like
that's
a watercolor.
Maybe that's what you feel in that moment,
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they change the Peter dying part of her story? Like in my head, in the first movie, she mentions Peter Parker dying, and I thought there was like a shot of like her holding a Spider-Man. And in this movie, he's not Spider-Man. Am I wrong?
I know what you mean. I couldn't remember. Was this one for sure Peter Parker? I never caught his name. So
she
a little
says
confused about that too.
In the first movie, she says like, "I lost Peter too,"
right?
And I just assumed that's who this was in this movie. Because why would his name be Peter? It could be literally anything else.
I just saw Into the
was it
Spider-Verse,
Peter again?
But I forgot. I just forgot. I forgot.
Yeah, me too. Well,
anyway, that was just a thought I had.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would. I feel like they did a good job of like tying everything together in this movie. So I felt like they would have tied it together as well too.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, loved Gwen Stacy in this movie. I really liked how they fleshed her out a little bit, and just where they started in Miles's journey, like when we finally got to him. I like that he's kind of getting the hang of the Spider-Man thing a little bit. The city seems to be kind of accepting him more.
Yeah.
And I like, okay, you feel like a full-fledged Spider-Man. Sorry, Louis, you were going to say something a second ago. I don't know if you remember.
I wasn't. Sorry, I'm actually just watching this clip on frickin' YouTube about what you were talking about. And no, it happened. It happened exactly like it did in the movie. Like
in the original one, like
yeah.
the original. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. I wasn't sure if that had changed or if I had just misremembered something. But I had a lot of fun in this movie. I did have to step out for a few minutes because my kid was acting a fool, and we had to kind of go catch our breath for a minute. And I thought we were gonna have to leave, which I was kind of bummed. Oh, wait a second. Sorry. Can I use this as an opportunity to vent about something?
Yes.
I mentioned this in the chat, but I want to say this out loud so you guys hear me say this.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck Colorado is on, or if it's the cinema in general, but we picked our son up kind of early that day for what we normally do. It was like 4:00, and so I guess we were already into like the evening time frame of movies. And Kristen, we were in the car. I was driving, and she was on the app booking the tickets, and she booked 3 tickets, which I assume one of them was a kid's ticket. But she goes, 3 tickets for the next showing in an hour or whatever is going to cost us $68.
Yeah.
3 tickets. And I said, what? I said, where are you looking at? She goes, AMC. And I'm like, do we book an IMAX or something? Like, why is it so expensive? She goes, no, it's just like the regular showing, $70. And I told her, no, cancel that. And like, let's go to another theater. We went to a Regal where we paid $50 for all 3 of us to go, which was like, okay, that's a little bit better. But like, I bought my Flash ticket today for next weekend, and I'm seeing it at 2 p.m. for $11. And I'm like, okay, the math is not mathing here. Like, how did we get anywhere close to $70?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and at least at Alamo, okay, if I spend $70 to $80, it's like, okay, well, I bought a few beers and we bought a bunch of food and we ate and we watched this movie that we bought tickets for. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I got my value out of it, I guess. But like, $70 just for the tickets just to get in?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I don't know, man. I'm an AMC A-list, so that stuff doesn't work. I don't think about that stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting 3 tickets back-to-back IMAX, no problem.
Yeah, but that's a single person, right? Like, those are tickets just for you, right? It's not like you can get, like, you and Sarah don't share your subscription, right?
No.
So if she was also on AMC A-list or whatever, that's a subscription for you and a subscription for her.
Yeah.
So if I have 3 of those, though, you know what I mean? Then it's like, this is not worth it anymore.
Right. You have to go at least. You have to go to the movies at least. Depends. Like that, of course, I think it's $11, but at least twice. You know, to go twice a month, and it's worth it.
See, I just don't know yet. I just don't know. I maybe me, but not the whole family.
No,
you know what I mean.
That's the thing with Sarah.
That is still pretty outrageous, though.
$70.
Yeah, I would be mad at that.
Thank you.
I would pause, or I would just be like, "Oh, I guess we're going on Tuesday for that $6 ticket."
Luis, regardless, let's say fuck the AMC list for just a second. I mean, excuse me, AMC overlords. I don't mean fuck the list.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that subscription, and I told you I need $70 if you want to see this movie. I mean, that's pretty fucked, right?
It's pretty fucked. But I would be willing to spend $24. I would be willing to spend $22 at an IMAX or Dolby screening.
Okay,
IMAX, yeah.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying is this was not any of those. This was like the most regular ass.
Are you sure
seats.
it wasn't Prime? It wasn't Prime.
I mean, she was driving, and I did ask multiple times. I said, driving the app. I mean,
yeah.
I did ask multiple times. I was like, "Is this a regular showing, or is this an IMAX or something?" And she said, "No, it's just like the regular seats."
I can't imagine it being that expensive. I feel like it would be Prime. I mean, I'm not going to Sherlock Holmes this, but I'm looking.
I mean, I'll tell you this though: we did not pay $70. I thought $50 was more reasonable. It wasn't great. And that also caused a bunch of hubbub because like we were out in the hallway and I was like, well, let's just leave. And Kristen was like, well, we just paid all this money for these tickets. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, well, you go see it. And I'm like, okay. I'm going to have to for the pod anyway. Like, I'm just going to have to like buy another ticket or I can just go back in now.
Right.
And that ended up being what we did. So that was my only like part of the experience. Rest of it was great. Loved the movie. I came back in. I can't remember when I left, but I came back in and they were doing the Indian Spider-Man segment.
Yeah.
And I basically saw the rest of the movie from that point on out. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. Ed, what are your thoughts on
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Nice. I am honestly on the same page. I mean, Miguel talked about specifically what I wanted to talk about too. I liked the... No, that's you saved me. The look of Gwen Stacy's world was just gorgeous, and if I remember correctly, I mean, just like the interactions with her dad at the beginning and later on in the film had me in tears. So it was just
I bet
all the character arcs throughout this were just on point. Just as poignant as the first movie, just as effective. I think, if anything, and this really isn't a gripe, it's just more of like, I want more. But it's just if it's any less than the first movie, it's because the first movie had like the well-rounded story. Like it finished. There was like an ending to it, whereas this is more open-ended. Our hero is in peril, and the other hero is getting the gang together, which like I was so happy about seeing like Spider-Punk joining together with Spider-Noir and Spider-Pig, who was like one of my favorite characters from the first film, who I missed in this one. And Peter B. Parker, you guys mentioned him. I could have done with more Peter B. Parker because he was kind of like a big impact on the first film.
I imagine he'll have. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like he'll have a much more a bigger impact in the third movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like I said, they were pulling back to give Gwen this moment to kind of solidify her and Miles' relationship.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory that Sarah passed to me, but I kind of want to hear Luisa's thoughts too, because I don't want to, like, we'll get into those next, I guess. But we're talking general thoughts. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really good. It was emotional. It was hilarious. Shout out to Jason Schwartzman as the Spot. I was surprised just how kind of dark that character became, just kind of how intense he became too, because from the trailers I felt more that Miguel O'Hara was going to be the focused villain in this movie, but in fact it was the Spot. So that was surprising. I thought Jason Schwartzman was a interesting and really good choice for that character.
I did love all the back and forth where he was like, it was played as a joke, but like the thought being like, I am your nemesis. And it's like, I don't know. I don't really read a lot of the comics. So only Miles Morales stories I get are like in the films or the games. You know what I mean? But I kind of like the idea of someone being like, no, I am going to be like your opposite.
Well, and it works too for Miles, because I mean, think about Miles, his trajectory too is like, I will be taken seriously as well, and so they're both kind of like, they both made each other. They're both going down the same path, and like, I will be taken seriously. I'm not just an anomaly. You know what I mean? I am Spider-Man too. Yeah, no, to go off of you guys are saying everything that I'm saying too, Great opening, great with Gwen. I love that they started with Gwen, especially when you do a sequel. Like, it's kind of hard not to repeat beats, and I think a great way of going around that is exploring another character that's there. In fact, if anything, I would have loved to see more of Gwen. I feel like it's a lot of a bookend situation with her father, and then a few things in between with like her and Miles. Of course, is like their like quote little swing date where they're going around. But just afterwards, like, man, I wish they had more Gwen, and I really want to play a Gwen Stacy video game, like Spider-Man Gwen. Like they did Spider-Man Miles Morales DLC. Give me a Spider-Man. Give me a Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want,
maybe after this game we'll see something.
Hopefully, because seeing her swinging around and doing her stuff, I loved it. I mean, technically, this movie is insane. I mean, all the textures, all the watercolors, all the things that they did. It just was like, I thought it was going to be too much watching the trailer, and midway through I was like, is this too much? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's direct but not noisy. I really dug. I love the voice acting. I know we've been talking about that, but again, I want to reiterate, everyone's performance as a voice actor, killer. Did such a good job delivering the lines and giving emotion to it. The soundtrack was really great, how everything like blended up at the very end, mixing all the themes together. That got me hyped for the third one, which is going to be out in like years from now.
I couldn't believe it's already been 4 or 5 years since the first one.
It took him 4 years to do that chase scene.
Yeah.
4
it's like
years.
Okay, all this time has passed. I didn't quite realize it.
Yeah.
And it's already made itself like such a cultural icon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, I think,
And they used this quiet time to go ahead and just throw together this fucking banging ass movie.
Yeah.
I had a great time. You did mention voice acting. There was only one little voice acting note that I wanted to say, like, oh, I didn't love that. the Scarlet Spider, I think is his name. The one that
Ben
wears kind of
Reilly?
like that blue vest. Yeah. Played by Andy Samberg. A couple weeks, maybe the month leading up to that movie, I remember the studio or whoever, or maybe Lord and Miller, being like, "Oh, we're not going to tell you who it is. We're really keeping that a secret." And then the reveal being that it was Andy Samberg. I was like, "Okay, that kind of makes sense. Like, it's not really all that wild that it was Andy Samberg. I didn't think we needed to hide that or anything." But I didn't love that his character was just kind of like not serious.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to say because I'm not like I don't know a lot about him. I just know that I like the look of that Spider-Man because I've played as that suit in the Spider-Man game like pretty frequently. I think he looks the coolest. And so I was kind of hoping for him to be like this character that really popped, and instead he was just kind of like, I'm dumb and strong, you know? And maybe that played for you guys. I was just kind of like,
I knew people at work who loved that guy. He was like, I love Ben Reilly, and it's
fair enough.
I think
That's
it's just
me.
like, you like chocolate or you like vanilla. You know what I mean? Or do you like mint chocolate? Great. You don't. This person does. But
yeah. That was and I think because I was kind of looking forward to him because like I said, I like that character, or I like the look of him.
Yeah,
and that was really the only thing that I was like, oh, I didn't quite love that, but everything else was so engaging. That I was like, it doesn't really matter.
The acting, the silhouettes of all the characters, they're like. Even I was watching on Dolby, and you could see the hair textures. They almost looked fucking real. Like it looked like they took real hair of like the mom and his, and they just like laid it on top, and it was just like this multimedia mix, awesome thing. Well, we got questions, right? We got prompts.
Yeah.
Take it away, Ed.
Yeah, lead us. Hold my hand.
So I feel like we've already talked about how it kind of holds up to the first movie. And since you guys are talking about what was that Spidey called, played by Andy Samberg?
I'm pretty sure it's Scarlet Spider.
I think so.
Am I wrong?
Scarlet Spider. I did not know that, for one, that was Andy Samberg, and I kept trying to peg that voice. So I'm glad you... Is that the right word? But yeah, so that's cool. I really enjoyed Daniel Kaluuya's Punk Spidey.
How dumb am I that I had no idea that that's who that was the entire time until the credits when they go, and Daniel Kaluuya. And I was like, wait, who the fuck was he? And then I was like, oh, obviously that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was really good. Spider-Punk is another one that so I'm only speaking about playing the game Spider-Man that came out a few years ago, and the skins that you would have, and the Scarlet Spider skin and the Spider-Punk skin. Like, I actually played with those quite a lot. So when Spider-Punk was announced, I was kind of excited about him, and then to find out he was such a pivotal character, I thought was a lot of fun. He really added a lot to the story. Yeah. Even them talking about him in just conversation before he appeared. I don't know why I didn't expect him to be so pivotal when they were talking about him. Because they made it kind of seem like, Miles is jealous that Gwen Stacy has found like another friend in another multiverse or whatever. So I was like, oh, Hobie is his name too. And so I kind of expected some like little like dweeby character for some reason, and he ended up being so fucking cool and like anti-establishment. You're like, oh yeah, he's like a punk. Like, okay,
he's been cool this whole time.
This whole time, and I liked how he kind of came back at the end to be like, I'm helping. You know what I mean? Like, I was over here, like, you thought I was out here just doing my own thing, but I'm really like a part of the cause.
Absolutely,
I liked him a lot.
Are we talking about favorite Spider-Man? Is that what the question was, Ed?
I don't even remember.
Well, just like some of your favorite additions, yeah.
Oh,
we got to meet a bunch of new ones, and like I said, I was sad that Spider Noir and Spider Pig were not here, but in lieu of,
I mean, I would say favorite Spider people definitely. I would still keep it Miles and Gwen. Like, I just love they just fucking kill it. Like I don't know how they do it, but they really embody those characters so well, and it makes me want to like be friends with them, and they're just emotional. It's just really good. As far as the new ones, you've already listed some great ones, Miguel, and I'll steal the other one that hasn't been mentioned, but Spider-Man India, you know?
Oh, he was
Yeah.
he was great. I'm so happy that I walked in kind of at the start of that whole segment.
Is that a ticket?
It's a collectible ticket that they gave out
Oh,
at Regal.
fuck. That's awesome, dude.
That's cool. That's cool.
I
Yeah.
want that. How much? No, I'm kidding.
No, he was definitely a really good addition to
Hilarious.
the crew. He was a ton of fun, but also I loved his look. They all every new Spider-Man comes in and okay, cool. They've added something, given them something from their world that gives them a unique look. But I thought his was the best. I loved everything about him. I loved that his hair sticks out of his mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gives them all different shapes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Every Spider-Man is very distinct. It's not just not that I had this issue before or anything, but it's okay, each of you swinging through the air, I can tell, I know who you are.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I mean. The silhouettes are so nice. You can see who they are right away. As the yeah.
And I feel like what these movies have done has really taken these kind of out there spider characters and put them front and center, and given you a reason to care about them. Also, it's not just oh, and here's this one, and here's this one, which what this movie could kind of be if not done well. You know what I mean? Everything felt purposeful, and everything felt like every character had weight when they were on screen.
Yeah, I loved how he was also just it's so easy to be Spider-Man. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fix my hair. I just wake up and do it. It's all easy. I was like, oh man, this guy.
Dude, he's a ton of fun.
I have one more, but I don't want to steal it from Ed. Another small little favorite character that popped up, I realized. It's going to be
the Lego guy?
No, not the Lego guy, but that's a good one too.
Because that was a cool bit.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, that was just a surprise. I was like, all right, yeah, of course they had to touch on Lego. I mean, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah.
If I got that right. But yeah, no, who are you thinking of?
I was thinking of Peter B. Parker's little baby. Mayday Parker.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, she was really
Okay,
adorable.
can we get into that theory thing?
Okay.
And
okay.
Again, this was Sarah's thing that she pointed out to me that didn't occur to me. So, major plot thread throughout, and again, spoilers, but we're already here. One of the main canon plot lines through the multiverse is that when Spider-Man's dad becomes captain of the police force, they inevitably die trying to save a child. And we see that's what Miles Morales prevents in Spider-Man India's world when he saves
the captain and the kid.
Spider-Man's
his girl,
the
love's
captain and the
interest
kid.
dad, who's the captain.
That's it, yeah. And so Sarah, and we got a glimpse of that from Miles, kind of just looking into the future or whatever. And then Sarah pointed out that Gwen is getting together the gang, and Peter B. Parker is bringing along his baby. And she suggested that the baby in Miles Morales'
story, canon
universe, is going to be Peter B. Parker's kid.
Interesting.
Wait.
But who would save the kid? So if there's a kid being saved and that person dies,
so it'd be Miles Morales' dad in that universe, and the baby is only being brought there because
of Peter B. Parker. So Miles' real dad, not the alternative.
Right. No. Yeah, so in his actual reality.
I see what you're saying.
But they're it's what do you call it? It's causality.
Wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
So
He brought the baby, and now.
Right.
Okay,
now Miles is dad.
And it's initiating that time sequence where Miles Morales' dad is going to die because of Peter B. Parker's baby at some point.
In that universe.
Just an idea. This is what Sarah threw at me, and I was just like, oh, okay, I could see that.
You're saying that because they brought
catch up, Luis.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up here. Hold on. So because the baby's there, you're saying that the dad's going to die now for sure?
Well, we already know that they've made a point that he's going to become captain,
right?
And that Spot's already revealed that he's going to die, and also we know that Miles Morales' dad dies. Right?
Do we know that though? It may not happen.
I mean, I guess again, I've only in the game. That's what happens.
Oh, in the game.
And I guess in the first movie, it was his uncle that dies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just assumed Brian Tyree Henry's character was gonna go kaput at some point.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he won't. I have a feeling that it may not because of like he's an anomaly.
He'll shift.
There's a lot of anomalies. They're like, you can't do that, and it's like, really? Can't we?
And that's his whole thing,
that's
right?
the whole
Like,
thing.
I'm doing my own thing.
That's exactly.
Ed, I don't know if Luis ever really like nailed down the understanding of what the theory is, but I see what you're saying. Like how Peter brings that baby, and that then sets off that whole event.
Sets off the sequence of it. Maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Thought.
Oh, you're saying that the dad's gonna save the baby because the baby falls down, and
maybe
and Brian Tyree runs, saves the baby, and because of that, baby he dies.
Right.
Yes,
okay. I caught up now. Okay. That's a good theory. I agree.
I thought that was like, well, that would definitely add like more gravity to the situation because it's not one but now two characters that you. It's not just some random baby that he's trying to save.
Right. Yeah.
It's the daughter of Peter B. Parker, and who you're going to sacrifice in that moment.
Exactly. Who do you choose kind of moment, you know?
I think I should be writing this next movie, maybe.
Well,
I'm not
maybe.
a part
I think
of
it's already done.
WGA.
Actually, yeah. Well, from what I hear, they still have to do some more work. Like it's not going to come out next year.
Let it take some time. It doesn't need to be. Last week the news was Haley Steinfeld hadn't even recorded any lines for the next one yet.
Yeah.
And it's like if it took 4 to 5 years for this next one for the sequel to come out, do it. Like what people, and they're already saying this one was better than the first one, so the hype is there. So all you're doing is generating hype. It's not like over the next 4 years people are going to go, actually the second one was pretty shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it's we're here. We're in it. Oh, the only other complaint. Oh,
go for it.
Real quick, the only other complaint that I would have is that I thought I have listened to basically every song of the first movie's album about 1 million times. Forrest went through a phase where we listened to that quite a lot. I did not think the album for this movie, and I couldn't even tell you really any song at any point. I don't think it was as much of a hit, kind of in the same way that like Black Panther Wakanda Forever had an album, and it was like,
right.
And like Rihanna did the song, and that's good. But like as far as like an album, it's like it was kind of I don't remember anything. But I remember that Kendrick Lamar album,
right?
You know?
The Kendrick Lamar, yeah. I tell you what, like I was gonna spoiler alert. I'm gonna talk about what we're into. I'll talk about right now. But I've been listening to that album, the new one, the new soundtrack with all the new songs.
Is it good?
Man, a lot of bangers. You know, I listened to a lot of them.
Maybe I need to
Future, Little Wayne.
So listening to the songs on the first album and watching the first movie, it's like, oh, they're using these songs at very like specific points of the movie. And I just don't remember at any point of this movie being like, oh, wow. Like I remember when Peter Parker died in Into the Spider-Verse and the song that they play in that moment, because it worked with the animation. Everything felt organic. Here, it just seemed like maybe background noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
So I need to give it a little bit more of pay a little more attention to it.
Listen to it, and then you might let yourself
and then
back
watch
on
the
it.
movie again.
It's also very difficult to find on like I was looking for like Spotify or iTunes, because it's not just Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse album. You know, it's like it's hold on.
It has like a name.
Oh my god, dude, it's very complicated. It's where the fuck are you? God damn it! It's called.
Share it with us later.
It's called. Here's what it's called. The album is called Metro Boomin presents Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack from and inspired by the motion picture. Very difficult to Google and to find, because if you would Across the Spider-Verse, you can barely find it. Anyway,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he like this is my album and I'm putting my name in front of it. Like,
do you know Metro Boomin has a cameo in this movie? He plays one of the Spider-Mans. I saw a clip of him watching it in the theaters too, and then recording the. Maybe I sent that to you guys. Maybe you guys just saw it yourselves. As far as the music goes, I think maybe I need to pay a little more attention and get that under my belt.
What are your thoughts on the movie ending where it did, as far as your experience watching it?
Are we going to get into it? We're going to. you're talking about like the final. I loved the twist. And spoiler alerts. I loved the twist. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
The set as he was giving that, like, I'm hiding the spider outfit underneath my jacket. I'm kind of, Mom, like, I'm trying to tell you something kind of moment. Throughout that dialogue, I was like, are they about to say that this is something's fucky just happened and he's not in the right place, or Spider-Man has been erased for some reason, you know? And so when they reveal that moment and she's like, who's Spider-Man? Like, why do I give a fuck about what you're saying right now?
Yeah.
And then it all started clicking. Like, they made such a big point about the spider was not from your universe, and this machine sends you back to the universe you're from, the DNA wise or whatever. I thought that in and of itself was a great twist.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, now he's misplaced.
Yeah.
And now Gwen Stacy has to get him. Okay, so now I see the thread for the third movie. That's what the story is. But when Uncle Aaron pops onto the screen, I felt like kind of this pit in my stomach. I was like, oh God, like we're about to do the whole Prowler thing again. Right. In this universe, at this point, I mean, in the story, Miles knows exactly who he is. Like, there's no question about it. So then the audience is like, oh, kind of on the same page as Miles, and he gets wrapped up in the punching bag like Spider-Man did in that first movie. And then the reveal that he's not the Prowler and that there is a Prowler, and then that whole reveal, man, I was like edge of my seat, could not believe that that's where they took it. And I saw something on the internet that I do want to talk about in a second, but if we want to do general thoughts first, we can do that. Ed, did you like the cliffhanger ending?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, I really loved that final shot.
Which was?
Of all the Spider-Man, like that Gwen gathered together.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't remember. I needed that recap. Thank you.
What do I think? I really think I need that third movie to come out and for this to just be one full movie. Because as far as like, yeah, I think it did end, like the Gwen story kind of wrapped and all that stuff, but this is like a super epic Spider-Man movie that had to be split into two. It's already a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, and I imagine the next one's going to be equally as long. But when I watch it again, I'm going to have to watch it back to back to get that full epic scope, because we really do take our time to just establish ourselves in these different moments. And more than anything, I think this whole movie is motivational led. Like, everybody has a desire and need, and all of that pushes the movie forward. And then only when you get to like later down the line does it start breaking into like actual plot of like, you know, we need to stop you so that, you know, this canon event can happen, because if not, then the whole multiverse can collapse, blah, 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 blah. But before then, it's just about like, you know, Gwen missing Miles, and Miles wanting to expand his wings, and the Spot trying to prove himself. Like, these are all just motivations, and we see them living these experiences and trying to move forward. So I really like that. I think I have a trouble sometimes with like part one movies. And I think it's just like, oh, I know you wrapped it, but it still is like, it's hard when like the first one was a whole movie. Do you know what I mean? It was snappy.
Exactly.
It was poppy. And I think that movie is made for a younger crowd. And this movie is actually, I feel, made for a little bit older crowd. It's more
I think
adult.
that's why we struggled with my kid, because it was like, it was long, and also it was like, oh man, it's colorful, but in a different way. Yeah. You know,
you have a moment when Miles and Gwen are just like sitting and talking, instead of like the other one would have had silly moments about like him trying to put his hand on Gwen, and it had this like really comedic way of doing it. And here it was a lot more heartfelt, more like struggle and vulnerability. And so in that sense, you kind of need more space for breathing room to do that. So,
so the big cliffhanger being that in this other universe that Miles gets sent to, there's a Miles Morales already there, and he is the Prowler of that universe. And it's kind of like this rundown city and crime everywhere kind of thing. And that's how he, I guess, has powers. He's this criminal, the Prowler. I saw this. This is not an original thought. I did not put this together. Obviously, I saw this on the internet. But someone pointed out how, like, in the first movie, when after Miles Morales gets bit and he has that like interaction with Peter Parker when he's fighting Goblin, and their spider senses tingle at the same time. Yeah. The colors originally for Miles are purple and green, which are like the Prowler colors. And then as he like kind of meets Spider-Man, they switch over to the Spider-Man colors, and kind of signifying like he was always meant to kind of become that character, but then this event happened and it put him on a completely different path. And I was like, okay, if that is true and that was intentional, that is a very like, wow, that's like kind of a cool Easter egg early on in the story of where they wanted to send him.
I was thinking that on my drive home too, but at that point there was already a Prowler. Like Uncle Aaron was the Prowler. So would it be like Uncle Aaron would have passed down the Prowler title to Miles if push comes to shove?
I see what you're saying.
Or maybe he would have picked
possibly
up if Uncle Aaron died still, and like, for whatever reason.
And I guess that was also kind of maybe the thought early on was his dad trying to keep him away from his uncle, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows like, oh, my brother does some shady things. And like, had he not been intervened by Spider-Man, maybe, Aaron would have taken him under his wing and like naturally passed that down to him in that universe. I don't know, but I loved the twist. I loved that it was like, man, there's so many kind of ways that they've been playing the bad guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Spot, I feel like is going to be the big overall. Spider-Man 2099 is going to like cool it and become the good guy, or die. And Miles, you know what I mean? Kind of this like man versus self battle. I think they have done something with this character and have really pushed him to the forefront. I think that a lot of the talk right now is like in 10 years, Peter Parker may be like the kind of like
back burner
before,
you
know what I mean? Like before time Spider-Man, and now Spider-Man today is Miles Morales. And I know for my kid, like he knows Peter Parker, he knows Gwen Stacy, he knows Miles Morales, but he sees Miles Morales as kind of like the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening. This is like a very cultural shift for this character, and I'm very excited about it. Both of these movies were really good, and I'm really looking forward to the third one.
Yeah, great character development, great dialogue, great writing, great voice performances. Obviously, technically, the drawing. I mean, everybody's going to talk about that. We don't have to reiterate that, but of course, that is just incredible. All the techniques that they use. I wanted to.
Oh, can we? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to talk about the Prowler one more time. Sure. At one point, Donald Glover was slated to take on an important role as the Prowler, and so he was Aaron Miles in Spider-Man Homecoming, and we got to actually see what that would have looked like in some weird way in this movie, where we got a live action Donald Glover as the Prowler.
The Prowler.
You know
what's funny is on the walking out of the theater, there was an older couple, like I don't want to say elderly, but they were pushing it a little bit to that. And as they were walking out, the lady goes, "We recognize him," and he goes, "Who?" And she goes, "We recognize the only like real person in the movie. He's somebody, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Donald Glover. It's Childish Gambino. He's Miles. He's Miles' uncle in the Spider-Man universe and in the MCU. Old lady, you know this. You know who he is. Atlanta, you watch it, I'm sure. But no, I thought that was I was like, okay, cool. They are at least acknowledging that.
This is becoming more of an umbrella Spider-Man movie than Spider-Man No Way Home. This engulfs them as well. It talks about the MCU. It talks about Doctor Strange. It shows Amazing Spider-Man,
Venom,
Toby.
Amazing Spider-Man,
Venom, Insomniac Spider-Man shows up. The video game Spider-Man.
He does.
A character in the movie is playing the game, the Insomniac Spider-Man game, at the very beginning, and then you see the actual character. Venom. We get that lady who's in the Venom movie. Who else? I mean, we get everything. It's just like it's totally the bird's eye view of the entire Sony, like the entire Spider-Man universe.
You know what's funny is I knew as soon as they put, well, I am a little jaded because like Multiverse of Madness used John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and that feels now more so like that was just a one-off thing. So that could be what they're doing here. But as soon as they showed Donald Glover as the Prowler in that brief bit, I was like, okay, he's attached to another Sony Spider-Man property right now. I bet that gets scrapped, and I bet you they start pushing him to be Prowler in the MCU. And just last week or earlier this week, they announced that Sony scrapped that movie, that Hypno Hustler movie that Donald Glover was going to do. And yeah, that makes me think, okay, yeah, they are definitely going to try to make him, when they do eventually introduce Miles in the MCU, he is going to be that character. That is not just like a throwaway thing that happened. So I'm excited. I want him to come back. I want him to be Prowler in the MCU. I really, again, I don't know much about Miles Morales, but the Prowler in the first movie was amazing. I loved him.
Yeah.
He was terrifying. I loved his music. I definitely want to see more of him. And sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there.
Stop apologizing. We're just enjoying listening to you.
We didn't talk about this really, but I loved the Vulture in the beginning of the movie. I don't know how you guys felt about him. As soon as he came on screen, he was like this Renaissance era like character, you know? And I was like, yes, just another way that we are like adapting these characters for this cartoon movie and making them so out there and over the top, but also so fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like pulling from every kind of artistic
universe.
Yeah. But I'm glad you kind of brought that. Yes, I agree. I really loved that. And the whole sequence and
it was so fun.
Yeah, really good. But a quick question. So I don't know if I just like missed this throughout the movie or what, but so like they kind of insinuated that Miguel O'Hara, voiced by Oscar Isaacs, who we haven't really talked about that much, he is kind of like a vampire.
Oh man,
or something.
I would have said werewolf, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I only say vampire
definitely
because somebody said vampire later on. But
they did.
Still,
okay.
I don't think they directly addressed it. But there was like that moment where he was like gonna eat or bite off the head of Vulture.
Yes.
Which was very intriguing to me. I was like, oh, what's about to happen?
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just hoping one of you guys might be able to shed more light on that.
I barely know who Miguel O'Hara is because I think I played Spider-Man Unlimited on the PS3, and he's
your Irish cousin,
and he's in that game. And I think he looks cool, but other than that, I don't know much about him at all. And I do know that his name is Miguel, and obviously I hold that dear to my heart. But yeah, that was a twist for me. I was not expecting that, and I was like, oh, okay. We got like this monster element that we're kind of keeping on the back burner, where it's like they mention it a little bit, but it's not the forefront of his character just yet. And so it's like, okay, what's going to happen? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this third one because I feel like they're going to delve deeper into Miguel. Like that's going to be his more of his movie and like what he's going through and all of his background and suffering. Yeah, I don't really know too much about it from a quick Google search. I know he is referred to as a vampire, but if he's anything like his comic book counterpart, then no, he isn't a vampire. He has canine fangs that produce paralyzing non-toxic venom, but he doesn't feed on blood, is what the internet is telling me. So,
so he's like a spider.
Yeah. He's like, he's gonna bite you. But I'm excited. I'm curious and excited to hear more about this because they really did keep him on the back burner and just had him do a few things. But we're gonna see him more in the third one. What else we got here?
Man, that moment when Miles is like released from the cage and he looks at Miguel O'Hara and Miguel O'Hara looks at him and then Miles just takes off running and then that chase starts.
Yeah.
I know the chase is like this technical feat because of all these characters and the art and this and that, but the two of them, you know what I mean, really fucking, like, I was engaged watching that fight because it was like, man, I don't want him to get caught by this guy. Like, this guy is scary, and he doesn't look like he's in a positive mood right now.
Very like intense voice acting from Oscar Isaacs. I thought he was really good, like at getting that across.
I'm trying to think. There was one line that I thought was a little silly, and I think it's one of the lines in the trailer, just because it just sounds like. I wish I could remember what he actually says, but he's just like, oh, and I'm like, okay, he took it to this level. He took it to the top.
He apocalypsed it.
He did. Wow, look at him. Also, good call out, Ed. You know, he's done a lot of Marvel characters.
Yeah. No signs of stopping either. He likes that paycheck too much.
I feel like there was a time when you were a character and that was the character you were, you know?
Chris Evans.
And it's wild that yeah, that's true. And that's true. That's true. But it's kind of wild that, you know, now superhero movies are so prevalent in the industry that it's like, well, it's just a job. Like, I did this character, I did this character. It's not like this moment of like, I was Batman and now I can be no one else, you know? Not that was just a dumb throwaway example because he's not been Batman, but
he could.
Yeah. He could. I guess, yeah. And I guess we'll get a new Batman here in just a few years anyway, so get ready.
I just texted you guys.
I liked it. I thought it was really great. I do want to go back and watch it again.
Yes.
It has given me the urge to go back and watch Into the Spider-Verse again because that one was so fun.
Again,
I rewatched it recently on my phone on the drive to San Antonio, but it was still so fucking good. It just really, that ending, that build up at the end is so.
Hang on a second.
Intense.
And I'm sorry. Can I clarify? You just said that you watched Into the Spider-Verse on your phone on the drive to San Antonio. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now hang on a second. Were you driving?
No.
No, you weren't. So Sarah was driving.
Yes.
San Antonio from Houston is like, what, 2.5 hours? It's really not that long of a drive. You couldn't just talk to Sarah for 2.5 hours? You had to like throw on a movie? How did she feel about that? She was like, okay, well, talk to you later.
Nah, she was listening. For starters, I had started it previously at home. I was really kind of finishing it off. God damn it. And
I just have it in my head that you were like, Sarah, please just drive. Okay. You couldn't listen to a murder podcast in the car?
Well,
you couldn't.
Sometimes we don't match, like we don't vibe on our podcast choices.
Just like real quick, like do you guys
to these two?
Like, do y'all love each other? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are happy this is working out.
Sarah, if you're listening, just comment on YouTube if you love me.
That's the podcast I think people want to hear now. We'll get Sarah on and do like a Jerry Springer episode where it's like really deep diving into your relationship.
Like open up, into my skeletons.
No, I don't mean to.
Cool.
I'm just being silly, but I just was kind of blown away at this idea of you being like, okay, finally, I don't have to drive. Like, let me just like watch. Like on a plane, it feels like kind of one thing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well.
Did you see that?
I don't have my
phone. God damn it!
I'll do this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Oh, here.
Do you see it, Miguel?
Oh, there you go, Ed. If there's anything that
I just wanted to comment,
Ed,
one thing.
Are those? You know, we can see. You'll have to edit this, Luis. We can see all your messages right now.
Oh shit! You can. Okay, but regardless, I'm gonna stop it now that you've seen it. Miguel O'Hara's butt.
Man, if there's one thing Ed likes the most,
there it is.
It's men's butts. Men's butts. I saw Thanos' ass from Ed at one point. We're talking about Miguel O'Hara's right now. I bet you loved that Captain America's ass gag in the.
Who didn't? That was a great gag.
Yeah, yeah, we know, we know.
That's America's ass. Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Fucking killer movie.
Fucking amazing.
10 out of 10.
Fucking 10 out of 10. It probably deserves a punchy. Huh?
I want to see it again.
I saw it twice. I will be seeing it a third time. And
Nice.
I'm excited to continue giving it money for the box office movie wager thingy-majigger.
Yeah, I need it to be like no.
When I watched it for the
Needs to
second,
go
when I
up.
watched it for the
I needed
second
to
time,
stop.
I saw. What I missed earlier was that the machine did say 42, and so I completely went over my head, and I was like, "Oh, duh!" He goes to Earth 42. But when I watched it, I was so surprised. I was like, "I love this switch and bait situation."
It was good.
So yeah, I'm gonna rewatch it. Excited, I love it. Let's move on to what we're into. Things that we watch, listen to, stuff like that. Miguel, what have you been into?
So we Kristen and I have been playing the game It Takes Two.
Oh, the Olsen's Twins video game that came out.
What?
Have you not seen the movie It Takes Two with the Olsen twins?
No, I haven't.
Really?
Okay,
we'll go on. The joke fell down. Go.
No, It Takes Two. Luis, you know what game I'm talking
I know what you're
about.
talking about. I was just trying to be a dick.
Okay, all right. I was like, don't leave me hanging. You can't be. Ed doesn't know. You have to know. You know. Oh, he said, "Fuck it." Anyway, all right. So, It Takes Two is the co-op game, which is fun because you don't really get a lot of that like couch co-op anymore. Where you play as a husband and wife. It Takes Two. Kirstie Alley, Steve Guttenberg, Mary Kate, and Ashley Olsen. Oh, okay. I don't remember this one at all.
Okay. Let's keep going.
So It Takes Two is you are a man and a wife, a father and a mom. You're getting a divorce. You're going through a rocky marriage, and your kid has an emotional moment with her dolls, and somehow you are like the two characters are sucked into these dolls, these little wooden doll toys, and then you play this game as these dolls trying to get back to your real bodies. And we haven't finished the game yet, but initially what I thought was, oof, we're not going to get through this game because it's really hard. We have found our groove, and it is kind of like a fun one. I'm surprised at how often Kristen will be like, hey, let's play that game, because like she never wants to play games with me. Yeah. And like we've done the Lego games, we've done a lot of those, and they're fine, but I feel like there's just like a limit to how much we really want to play those. And I was surprised at how engaging this one was. It Takes Two is like really just the theme of the whole game. Every activity is very much reliant on both halves coming together to solve the equation. And I think it's also been super engaging every time we shift forward in the story. It's like a new set piece. Because again, you're like these tiny little characters, and so you're going through the world of like the shed, and then the under the house, and the, you know what I mean? It just it gives a really fun perspective to things. I'm having a great time. Can't wait to finish it. Luis, I think we kind of briefly texted about this, and I was like, I don't know if Sarah would like this because it is kind of hard.
Right.
But
Kristen was talking about it when she was here. She likes the game.
Well,
too.
that's what I'm. Okay. Yes, it is a lot of fun. Then, yeah, you guys should definitely give it a shot. It is fun to play together. There are times when she dies maybe a little bit more than me. Maybe she would hate for me to say that. But I feel like I've been really patient, and we kind of figured out, because for me, I play video games all the time where it's like once or twice you kind of go, oh, I see what the puzzle is,
right,
and now I know what I need to do. And sometimes it takes a little while for both of us to get on the same page. Which kind of adds to the element of both of these characters kind of hating each other a little bit at times. You know what I mean? So I'll be like, we're trying to do this, and she'll be like, I know what we're doing, and I'm like, it's the game, but like real life
is happening.
Yeah, this is great for our marriage. But yeah, no, we're having a good time. I think it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to finish it. I think the voice acting is pretty good. It's silly, it's over the top, and I'm loving it. I have the EA subscription, which is only $4 a month, and that game is included. So it's like, yeah, I'll just kind of keep paying the subscription until I'm tired of playing this game So shout out, It Takes Two. It's a lot of fun if you have a partner to play it with. The end.
Hell yeah. I love
Hoorah.
it. Ed, what are you into?
All right. So it's been a little minute since we talked about what we've been into. But yes, I did finally go see The Little Mermaid with my family. And
I'm
you
going to
know
be right
what?
back.
It was fine. It was okay.
Wait, hang on. I'm still here. Hang on. No, now I want to hear about it.
Okay.
I had a daycare, a kid at the daycare. One of their moms came up to me and said, "Oh, we went and saw Little Mermaid," and I was like, "Oh, did she like it or whatever?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, my kid liked it." She goes, "But it was really long," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Fucking long.
She was like, "I couldn't." She's like, "I couldn't tell you how long it was, but it felt really long."
It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and let me
Wow.
tell you, that's at least 30 minutes too long. And you know what? I was asking Sarah at the end of it. I was just like, I just don't think they really added anything. It just like a lot of the same stuff. They added a fucking Lin-Manuel Miranda rap that was so unnecessary. They added like Prince Eric had a song this time, and me and Sarah were laughing in the theater when that shit was going on because it was like a 90s pop
Like
singer
R&B?
music video. No, not R&B, but it was just like he was like really into it, and then all of a sudden he was on a boat and his shirt was super wet and you could see his abs and stuff. It was just a really weird song. Didn't need to be in there. They took away the French chef and Le Poisson, so super bummed about that. But other than that, and also, hands down, one of the worst closing shots of any movie I've seen this last year is the stupidest, most unimaginative
Talk that talk, Ed.
thing that you could have ended. You're talking about a movie. It was just like a terrible shot, and I was just like, "Oh, that's what they wanted to end on." It's just this kind of like
What was it?
far off shot of her. So okay, at the end of, we're all familiar with The Little Mermaid. When Eric and Ariel are going off together, they are getting married and they're on a big barge. In this movie, they are going onto a ship and they're about to like set off across the world to explore and make good relations with other countries, whatever. But this time, instead of like King Triton painting a rainbow over them, they right now, like in that moment, they're on a rowboat going out to the ship, and King Triton uses his trident to make them speed across the water and get to the boat faster.
Okay.
And so it looks like they have like a little motor on the back of the boat, but it's magic, and it's just cruising along. And then so the last shot is just them from a distance, just almost like voyeuristic shot of them riding off on a boat. It's like a crop shot too, so it's not, you don't get this beautiful scenery, you don't get to see all the mermaids in the background. It's just those two, and they're not sitting next to each other. It's not romantic. It's just like I can't wait for it to come out so I can show you guys. But I was just like gobsmacked that they decided to close on that. All that to say is just like, this is another example of, I'm going to beat a dead horse with it, but it's just like, it's another example of why these movies don't really need to be made, because they are so bland and soulless, and they don't really add any of that magical Disney, I don't know, just like that oomph that, would just like made you fall in love with it in the first place. And yes, there are good moments throughout this. I will even admit that I teared up in a moment. Melissa McCarthy does a really good job as Ursula. I thought Javier Bardem was fine. I thought, it's just like, but like none of the songs really popped more than the originals. They didn't really add anything to it. I will say there was, in contrast to the closing shot, there was one shot in Part of Your World when she's singing in her secret cave where there's this beautiful shot above her where she's reaching up and she's like, I don't know, just reaching out. And all of a sudden the shot cuts to her hand on the outside of her, like reaching outside of her cave. And then it just like pulls back a little bit, and that got me into feels. So I had like very mixed emotions throughout this film. Like it was just like, ooh, this is a really poignant shot, and then at the end, it's like, ooh, this is a really stupid shot. It's just like a mixed bag of feelings. So again, it was just like nothing really amazing. Like Halle Bailey's good, but I don't think her and Eric had much chemistry. Which, if you're gonna, you want that to come off the screen, but it doesn't really. But she does a really good job. Not a bad singer at all, obviously. But so yeah, there you go. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. But Luis,
I watched Jury Duty. That show that on Freevee. It was great. Good things. Watch it if you can. It's fucking free as fuck. Only bad thing about it is that you can't pay to get rid of the ads, and I'm a man who likes to pay for my ads to be gone. So that was the only pain thing.
You're the reason we're here at this point, Luis.
I was like, is there a Freevee Plus? Is there a Freevee Max? Like, I'm willing to pay $4.99 not to see any more ads.
Yeah, Luis, do you have? I thought you had Prime.
Yeah,
but Jury Duty still had ads.
Wait, is Jury Duty on Prime? I thought it was on Freevee.
I didn't have ads in my Jury Duty.
Freevee, which is on Prime.
I downloaded a whole brand new app to watch this goddamn show.
I could have sworn I didn't have any ads.
Why didn't you tell me
this? We watched this on Prime, the app Prime Video, and it was presented by Freevee, which had ads, which is how we watched Mad Men. So no, I definitely didn't go to like freevee.com.
I downloaded the Freevee app and watched it through that way. And then I started diving into more Freevee originals.
And I'd be surprised, but I'm pretty sure yours had ads when you watched it. But
no,
I mean,
it says stream ad free with Prime.
Maybe it had ads at the beginning, but it didn't have ads throughout. Yeah.
But we definitely watched. We watched Mad Men on Prime. We watched Mad Men on Prime for Freevee.
Okay, so Jury Duty. You also know about Metro Boomin, and then I started watching Boy Meets World. Okay, good ass show.
Started.
What do you mean started? Rewatched. Of course, I've seen Boy Meets World. As a child,
baby. I was like,
no, I've seen. Okay. Of course, that's a core memory of my life. No, started rewatching it. And goddamn, that kid's a good actor. So is Mr. Feeney. They're really like. I watch it now. I'm like, damn, the technique off the chain. So good. He shouldn't be that talented as a kid. Okay, Ed, close us out.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have completed my Christopher Nolan catalog, and I watched Following, his very first film, his short film. And I watched it entirely free on YouTube. It was good. You see those Christopher Nolan flourishes. There's like a fucking with time. But it's clean. It's, it's notoriously low budget. And I mean, it was good. I reckon, like, if you are trying to see all of his repertoire of films, it's like an hour and 10 minutes long.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah, and it's interesting. You just definitely see those, like, Nolan-isms and those kind of characters. So, yeah, it was an interesting watch. And I can now say I've seen all of Christopher Nolan's films, apart from Oppenheimer.
Can I ask you guys this?
Which I finished the book today.
Congratulations.
Was it good?
It was very good. Very sad.
No, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I don't want to spoil the movie.
Okay. No, I'm not going to spoil the movie, but he dies in life, right?
I mean, I assume at some point.
I thought he was still alive.
Yeah.
Ed,
he is not presently
Ed,
living.
Luis, and Miguel. Let me ask last little question for the pod before we close. Barbie, Oppenheimer, let's say we're all seeing both movies on the same day. Okay, Barbie, Oppenheimer. What order are you going to see them in?
Oppenheimer, Barbie.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. No. Don't tell us why. Don't tell us why. Luis, which one would you go with?
Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Barbie, Oppenheimer.
What about you?
See, that's a tricky one. You guys both ends of the spectrum on this. I feel like Barbie is the dessert.
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say, Ed?
Yes, like the Oppenheimer is going to be the lengthy but dramatic and intense, and then
And you
Barbie
need
is
that palate
the kind of
cleanser.
like, yeah, just like give me that pink.
Yeah, I think Barbie first. I think Barbie first maybe be the bad formula. Like you would be like, God, that was so fun. Oh my God, the world is ending. You know what I mean? Like maybe the other way around. I think I don't know though.
You said it, Oppenheimer, then Barbie.
I guess I would agree with that on
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, I would go with him on that.
It's perfect. When we come to the podcast, we'll express our feelings.
It's okay to agree with me sometimes, guys.
I hate it when it happens. Anyway, I'm Miguel Sanchez.
I'm Louis G.
And I'm Eddie Wee B.
And until next time. No, what are we reviewing next week? Oh no, next week is The Flash. My
Transformers.
goodness, we're gonna talk
Oh, yeah.
about The Flash. So tune in next week. We talk about The Flash, and until next time, oh baby, I see you.
Do it, Miguel.
I think we have to change that, by the way.